Good morning from Martha's Task. I'm here with Mary Burns, who has a new project for us. What are we making today?
These are little storage pouches. They're just little ones that open up really nice. You'll see this one is for me, and it's in a knitting fabric, and I'm using this for some of my knitting stuff. So I was in a knitting group, and I'd throw my knitting project into a tote bag to take, and lots of times I needed scissors, or I stitch markers, and then I also have darning needles, and I needed some darning needles, so I made this cute little pouch for my darning needles, and this holds my darning needles, and they all go into this, and then this could go in my tote bag when I go knitting.
Wonderful.
We are doing some down here at Martha's Task. Some of them may just be plain simple pouches, but some of them we're actually going to turn into manicure kits. So you could use this for a manicure kit. You could use it to store jewelry. You can, if you carry like hair ties or whatever, the elastic bands, you could throw some in there to keep in your purse. You can, if you do chapstick or little cosmetics or whatever, these are just handy little pouches to store things in. So we have our pattern, and so what you'll need is 2 pieces of fabric. I've been doing mine, I've got 2 pieces that I'm doing contrast with. You can do them contrast, or you can do them out of the same fabric. It doesn't matter. And then the other thing you need is a piece of interfacing. So you'll apply your interfacing to one piece of your fabric, and then you'll put your right sides together and you'll sew it together all the way around. So this one I have sewn together all the way around, and when you sew it, you leave a hole for turning, of course. And so once you get it all sewn, then you want to go, and on your inside corners, you're going to clip it down that corner on a diagonal. You'll just clip it, but be careful that you don't clip through your stitching. So all the inside corners you're going to take and clip.
And what size of fabric do you use with this?
This is all just leftover fabric that I've used. 4 or 5. This is about 8 inches. Well, it's just slightly over 8 inches, so about 8.5 inches by about 8.5 inches.
Perfect.
For each side. So you'll need 2 pieces of 8.5 by 8.5. So once you clip all your inside corners, you'll go clip your outside corners, and you'll cut them off at an angle like this. So, and then that reduces all the bulky fabric so that you get a nice sharp corner. So you'll do that all the way around. You'll have all these corners. And then the last thing you'll do is on your curves, you're going to go in and you're going to clip your curves, and you're going to just do a little snip right down close around the curve. Again, you don't want to cut through your fabric, so be sure you don't cut through your stitching. And you'll clip all your curves. And then once you do that, you'll turn your fabric right side out. So you'll just take it and you'll turn it right side out. I'm not going to turn this piece out. This piece has already been turned right side out. And then once you get it right side out, get rid of my little scraps. Once you get it right side out, then you'll hand sew your little turning hole shut. Then once you get it right side out, the next thing to do is we're going to apply our snaps. So to figure out where I want to apply my snaps, I could measure it, but my shortcut is to just take it and fold the fabric in half. And that gives me right down the center, so that makes it, that's just a shortcut, so you don't have to get a ruler out and measure it. And then I'm going to want to do it on the top where you have the rounded corner. You want it to be about 3/8 of an inch down. So I'm using this is a cutting mat that has all your measurements on it. So those are real nice to lay out your fabric. So I'm kind of using my cutting mat to determine where I want my snap to go. So I'm going to take my snap setting tool. And again, we're using the plastic snaps. You can buy the plastic snaps, do the snap setting tool, or if you wanted to, you could even do the hand sewn snaps if you don't want to do the setting tool, or don't want to spend the money on a setting tool. So I'm going to go and I'm going to poke my hole and put my snap through.
And you found some cute yellow snaps.
Yes, my set that I got has all colors in it. So lots of bright, pretty colors that we can use for doing snaps on everything. And so when you do your snaps, you actually have a male and a female. So the female is the recessed, that'll be the female, and this is the male that's sticking out. So I'm going to take my male piece, I'm going to put it in, and then I'm using my snap setting tool. I'm going to slide it into the tool and just squeeze. And there I've set one side of my snaps. So now I'm going to take this, and again I'm going to fold it in half. And then this one is going to be, the top snap was down 3/8 of an inch. This one's going to be down just a little bit deeper. It's going to be 1/2 an inch. And I just used an ink pen to mark it. Once I set my snap, you won't see it. I mean, you could use a marking pen, but you can also do just the ink pen. So I'm going to push this through. Now this one, because when it's folded up, you want, this is going to need to be, since that's the male side, this is going to need to be the female side. So I'm going to put my flat side of my snap on the inside of my little pouch. And then this is going to be, slide it on, slide the second piece on, put it in my snap tool, setting tool, and just squeeze really good. So now I've set my snaps, so my little pouch will snap shut. And the last thing to do is to do my corners. So I'm going to take my corners, I'm going to match up the edges, and just go match up the edges like that. You pin all 4 edges. And then you will hand sew your edges, and you just hand sew them shut. And then when it's done, it just folds in like this, and you got your cute little pouch. And that's all it takes to do these lovely little pouches. So this one's, you can see how it's been hand sewn. The sides don't reach the top of the front of, or the top and bottom. So you'll see there is a little gap there, but, and that's to help it fold up. And it just kind of tucks in like that, folds over, and you got a little pouch to keep stuff in.
Very cute. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.